it started the broadcast, but I am currently posting it on the page. Welcome everybody to the Diehards podcast. I'm alongside Robert Thurman once again, and we also have a interview to do with the Jets user Rodney Curtis. Welcome RJ, Robert, and welcome Rodney.
Thank you, Logan.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I guess opening this podcast, I'd like to welcome our new users who just came in. We got Mitch. He's a Diehards original. He's going to be taking over the Bengals. And we got William Savory coming back to the league. He recently broke his hand playing Ultimate Frisbee. And he's just now getting well so he can actually play a game again. So he's took over the Patriots. And then we play in other leagues with the artist, and he took over the Chiefs, which this year he won't be able to do nothing because they've got a pretty big hole. I don't know if he can climb back in there, and the AFC is pretty tough as far as records wise, but he'll be a formidable opponent with that team. Has a good roster, and he likes to run them deep crossing routes, and Tyreek Hill's going to get open on them a lot.
Welcome everybody to welcome the new users to the league. And Stefan's a good dude. The AFC is stacked now. I believe so.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of good users in the AFC. It's gonna be tough to get out of there. You could go probably about 10, 11 playoff users in the AFC now.
Wow. And the NFC is stacked in basically one division too, if you look at it that way.
Yeah, the Green Bay's been on a losing streak here. I don't know how many they lost in a row. I ain't looking at the schedule, but I believe they were like 6-2, 6-1. Can't remember. But yeah, they're 6-4 now, and Minnesota's 6-3-1. Detroit still only lost the one game. You got the Bears. They just narrowly defeated the Jets last week by 1 point. I'm sure we'll talk to Rodney about that game later. And we got the only team that doesn't have a win yet. Well, actually, there's two teams that don't have a win, and that's the Broncos and the Saints. Who do you think will be the first team out of them two to get a win?
I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
Yeah, and then you got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not 1-9, so that's gonna be your teams battling for that first pick. And with the New Orleans and the Broncos needing a quarterback, Tua is going to go to one of them teams.
They still have Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah, Kansas City ain't going to draft Tua. I was talking about Broncos and Saints.
Oh, yeah. I think you can get away with it with Drew Brees maybe another year. But at the same time, if you had that first overall pick, it's kind of hard to say no to a quarterback. For the Broncos... For the Broncos, though, you got to think about it. Case Keenum is just not the answer.
I'm definitely not. I don't feel confident with him in my quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't too comfortable with him in another league, so. Well, we do have like 2-3 people watching, by the way. So, late night and people are watching on a Thursday night. I guess they're getting over their hangovers from real life Thursday night football, so.
Yeah, they might have just got through watching that game. That was a hell of a game.
Yes, it was. And we've had a couple of hell of a good games in the league so far, too. Coming down to the wire and stuff like that. No, Rodney, there's... I got to give you a first question. I see your receivers in the stats for the season. There's only 3 people that so far have scored touchdowns, and Robbie Anderson and Jermaine Kearse has 5 touchdowns each. Are you gonna be trying to get the other receivers, tight ends, and running backs more involved?
Well, what's really been happening on that is, man, we are extremely willing to getting tackled on the 1 yard line. You know, I'm still on the building state of this team, and really don't have much time really with my offensive line to really work anything in goal line situations. So, man, I'm just hitting whoever's open, and hopefully they get in. But yeah, Robbie Anderson's probably been tackled on the 1 by himself, and that Quincy's been tackled on the 1 himself, man, at least 4 or 5 times each. It's just, man,
Just some bad luck.
Just need to teach my guys to fall forward, man.
Well, 5 touchdowns ain't horrible at this point. You got Robbie Anderson. He's number 2 in the league with receiving yards, 888 yards, just behind Devontae Adams at 933.
Yeah, you really can't mess with that speed, man. And a lot of people think just because it's all Madden, they can press them, and man, you can't press 95 speed. You get ate up.
No, you can't. And there's one thing that kind of confuses me is why did last year Robbie Anderson was 6'4" and this year he's like 6'3". It's weird. He's
Maybe
a
they
tall
got an
receiver.
accurate measurement.
Well, maybe they finally did, but he is injury.
Banning.
Oh, you banning it?
He's pretty
Inside joke.
injury prone. I see Sam Darnold has fumbled the ball 11 times so far. I'm guessing that's the offensive line as well.
Yeah, Steven, last week's game against the Dolphins really packed that on there. I think he had 4 fumbles last week by himself. Just all, or 3, something like that. But
Yeah, I think
last
it was 3.
last week wasn't a very good week for the Jets offensive line, and really anything, really. The second half, Madden really he jumped in and he played all right in for the Fins.
Yeah.
So is Latavius Murray your starting running back?
Yes, he's my starting running back.
He's struggling to get any running game with that offensive line too, it looks like, with only 3.8 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's not really moving the ball very well, but I mean, man, I was in dire need to get something.
No, his attributes ain't horrible. You got 91 speed, 93 acceleration. He's pretty big, 230, 6'3". I mean, or no, yep, that's speed. Truck and 88. That's a good truck for 91 speed. You can get some.
Yeah, but for some reason his strength is only 72. I figured Murray's strength would be at least up there in the 79, 80 mark, you know.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, trucking, you could have as much trucking you want without that strength behind it, you know. When them stronger guys grab a hold of you, that's a wrap. Yeah,
sure.
whenever it comes up to a corner, yeah, I can run over them like nothing, but when it comes to linebacker, they're gonna hit me back, and I'm gonna drop that ball.
I'm looking at your division here, Rod, and you got the Steven. You just lost to him last week. He's 9-1. Then you got the Bills 7-2-1, and then you're 7-3. Now you got 3 of your games are division games against these 2 opponents to finish out the year. You got to play the Bills twice and the Dolphins once again, and so you're basically in the driver's seat. You could probably work your way back in the division.
I just got to play the Bills one more time. I already played them week 6.
Oh, you already played them? Did you win or lose that game?
I won by 3. Crosby's a good user, but that was before his team looked like it looks like he's been grabbing a pretty good hold of his team here in late.
He plays
And,
good defense from my experience playing him.
Yeah, I mean, we had a low-scoring game. It was 13-10. A very low-scoring game, but it looked like he just got a hold of his offense. Looked like he was struggling in the first 6-7 weeks, but it looks like he's been playing solid ball here late, so he's going to be a real tough game. He always is anyways. But
oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we tied actually 13-13 in overtime when I played Tawan. He hit a 55-yard iced field goal to end at the end of overtime. It's a crazy, sick game with a bunch of turnovers. But
I mean, if you look at his games at that point in time when I beat him, you go back to you hit the tie where he went 13-13 then he only won 13-12, then he lost 13-10. The last games after that, he's been putting up 30, 25, 24, 33, 44. So it looks like he's been getting some offense. I hope he puts it on old Steven, though. He really needs to bring them fins down a notch before I jump back on that field.
yeah, that's the game this week against. That's going to be a big game. That's one of the streamed games. They'll probably play tomorrow night, I'm assuming. I'll tune into that one for sure.
Yeah,
it's Steven that plays Tawan twice, so Tawan will be able to catch Steven if he comes out in them games.
It'd benefit me if Bills only beat in my point of view, if Bills only beat the Finns one time, because because right now if I could pull off another win against the Bills, I got the tiebreaker, so I really got a game jump on him. So Steven could put an L on him, and Crosby could put an L on Steven, and I could go ahead and hopefully wipe the slate clean at the end. And
I have a feeling that tie with that I have with Crosby is going to play a factor. Yeah,
you really got over on me.
I'd have been better off him just missing that 55-yard field goal, but you got to give it to him. He came through at the end of there to get that.
Yeah, he's a solid user. He's been a solid user for last year's Madden. He's in the same division again. Whenever he was the Titans, I believe it was, and he won a Super Bowl or two, and he's always
he won the very first year.
He's always been a tough opponent.
For sure.
Now, I'm looking at the 2019 annual awards for the year, and besides best halfback and the offensive line, every other category you have somebody on that list. Best QB, Sam Darnold is ranked number 10 right there. Receiver, you've got Robbie Anderson at number 2. So that's fantastic. D-line, didn't have anybody on D-line. You have Avery Williamson for linebacker. And then you got 3 guys for best DB, which is Tremaine Johnson, Marcus May, and Darquez Denard. So you have an opportunity there, Rod, to literally get a lot of guys upgraded for the year after these awards.
Yeah, I'm liking my secondary. I'm liking my defense, man. I improved this defense from I believe it was 74, 75 overall last year, and over one off season I boosted them up to an 83 overall. So I mean, the defense is building. I really had to make some big moves on my secondary. The Queeze, I just picked him up this off season, signed him, and I picked up
the Queasy?
The Queasy, yeah, the Queasy.
I think I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, but I'll go with it.
But yeah.
That Nick Bosa was a big pickup, that second overall pick from last year.
I don't know how he's not on one of the best defensive lines. They're not adding his stuff up right, man.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Cause how can you have
I mean,
rookie of the year but not have be on the D
Nick
line?
Bosa himself right here. I mean, for a rookie, he's got 8.5 sacks this year. He's my lead. He's my team leader. Which I know that ain't probably one of the best in the league, but 8.5 sacks for a rookie.
Ain't bad. Let's go over here and look at the AFC West. Looks like Chargers already got that locked down. That's going to be at least host a wild card game. It looks like the two buys, unless the Colts, Titans, Dolphins, they look like they'll probably get the buys. I mean, they could fall off and he could get to a bye, but he'll probably host a wild card game. He's the only guy that's most likely got a playoff spot bagged up already.
Yeah, the AFC West is basically on lockdown with the Chargers, but the as good as they're playing and ranked 11th in the league, they're only probably going to get a playoff spot in the wild card.
Hey, I need to interrupt there. Don't be giving those Chargers any good luck this week. That's who I got to play. I need them to go 6-4-1 this week.
Well, that's a good possibility.
Oh, I know. I played him before. He throw in a solid game. But I have seen Kyle erupt sometimes too.
Baltimore Fall last year, I believe he moved his team, or took over a moved team, one of the two. He had the Beats, and he was a playoff team almost every season. Beat me out of the playoffs one season.
Now, are you playing at home against the Chargers, sir?
Oh, let me check. I doubt it. All them big games so far has been away. That's one good thing, is that next time I play the Finns, I'll be playing at my hometown.
Cause
I think whenever I play, I think when I played the Bills, we played in Buffalo too. No, we played in New York. So we had to play Buffalo there. I play Chargers. No, I play them in Carson, California.
So they're outdoors. Because indoor wins, he's actually 0-1, and then outside he's 6-2. So.
Well, AFC South. Moving on.
I don't think I played an indoor game yet.
That's a tight division there. AFC South. I mean, it's really you got the top two teams there. Colts 9-1, Titans 8-2. But then the Jaguars are only 2 games back on the Titans, and then you got the Houston Texans, which sets you, Logan, 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
How are you been playing here lately?
Jaguars been putting
What was that, Rodney?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say for this division, you got the Colts who's ranked number 1 in the league right now, and then the Titans are ranked 4. I've been playing okay. I've lost 3 games straight. I mean, there was a couple games where I got maddened. But Jags right now are in a hot streak right now, winning 5 in a row and getting up there to being 6-4. With some help, they easily could get into the playoffs.
So they were 1-4 and came back.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep, they've won 5 games straight so far.
Yeah, they're right there on the wild card for sure.
Anything can happen. I mean, it just depends on how good he plays. I'm pretty sure I play the Jaguars. Actually, I think that's my next game, or no, the following week. I face Rodney, and then I go to Jacksonville. I'm pretty sure. So.
All right. Well, then the next division is the AFC North. I'm currently leading the AFC North by half game at tie, and then Edwin's just a half game back, and then Bengals and Ravens, unless one of us have a big losing streak, they're out of the division. But and me and Edwin have not played this season yet. Or actually, I had a forced win against them, so I got one win against them. So I do get tiebreaker there. We'll play one more game. I didn't remember playing him, but I forgot that he couldn't play that game that week.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Yeah,
division.
Edwin's a pretty
ahead,
solid
Rob.
user. I mean, you're gonna have y'all two's gonna be having a dog fight on that last game. I feel that'll be a good game to watch right there.
For sure. He's always a battle. I can't stop his short passing game. It's pretty tough. And then once you get committed to stopping that underneath, that's when he hits you over the top. So it's always make an adjustment.
I'm sorry, I just lost by 6 to him. Shazier made an incredible interception and took it back on me. Still kind of butthurt over that, but it is what it is.
It happens. I think for this division, if you look at it with my division how it is, this division right here will come down to whoever wins the division gets in, and the other dude might not.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, the wild card is it's pretty tight. If you look at the 10 spot, which is you and AFC 5-5, then you got the 9 spot 6-4, then the 8 spot 6-4, and then you got LA Chargers. I mean, they got the division lead, so they're 6-3-1. We've had 2 ties this season, and then what's hurting all them people trying to get in there as a wild card is the AFC East with Rod's team being at 7-3, Bills at 7-2, and the Dolphins at 9-1. They're leading the wild card race, so we all need some help from some of them teams to lose. Some of these guys looking to try to get in at the back end here.
Yeah, and you look at it right now. The Bills are on a 5-game winning streak, and then with Steven as the Dolphins, he's on a 7-game winning streak. So it's gonna be tough. I mean, I think the AFC East right now, the way I've been looking at it, is points for. All of them are above 220. So this is the most points for in a division so far.
Who's the new Bengals user?
Mitch Prince Green. Remember, he was the Falcons and Diehards last year.
Oh, has he still not made it into the league yet? Still showing computer on him.
Yeah, he's getting back into town tomorrow, and he's going to join in tomorrow.
I was just looking at both y'all's schedules, and it's looking like he's got a little bit tougher run than you do. So he's got a little bit stronger schedule strength, so that might benefit you.
Yeah, it possibly could, but Edwin could run the table and it wouldn't surprise me either.
Oh, yeah.
I think me losing 3 games straight, I think that kind of hurt me, so I might not even be in the playoffs this year, but...
Well, if you win out, you'll be 11-5. I mean, that's a tough 6 games in a row to win. That'd be tough. Even if you don't, you'll be 10-6. I finished 10-6 last year and was out, though. That's not good enough to get in the AFC. The AFC, I mean, is pretty stacked as far as, like we were talking earlier, as far as users up top. It's a tough division to get in. 10 wins is not going to get you in. You're going to need probably 11, which would be you running the table.
Yeah, you're going to have to, looking at the standings, you're probably going to have to win the division to get in.
And that's going to be tough.
You're not going to catch the Colts.
No, you ain't going to catch the Colts. I mean, like I'm 7-3 and I'm third in my division on the outside of it, you know.
Yeah, I'm basically gonna need the Steelers to lose a couple games. Basically Jets and the Bills too. and then the Jags and the Titans as well.
All right, let's move over to the NFC. We got the NFC East. Actually, there was a game played between the top two teams in this division. The Redskins and the Giants both hold a 4-6 record, tied for the division lead. And the Redskins won this game. I was watching the stream. I don't remember what the final score was, but they just won the game. So now the Redskins are 5-6. They lead the division by 2 games. Or a game, I guess.
And I said this the other day to you, Rob, that the Redskins could easily go from 4-1 real quick, and look what happened. They've won 3 games straight, and then the Giants have lost 3, Cowboys lost 3, and the Eagles have lost 5 in a row. So
for some reason it probed towards my game chat right then. I don't know what happened just then. Cut me off. But Thomas, he last year I believe he won 11, maybe 12 games. I can't remember, but he's a good user. He's been losing a lot of close games. I expect him to go ahead and win this division. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Well, when you got cut off, I was saying Redskins went from 4th in the division to 1st within a week.
Well, if you look at his schedule, he lost to the Packers by a touchdown. He lost to the Vikings by 3. He lost to the Bears by 9. He lost to the Eagles by 6. He lost to the Bills by 1.
He hasn't been
these are
close
lost
games.
to the Cowboys by 1.
Wow.
So he's been in a lot of close games. He's just been coming up on the short end, and I'll be surprised if he got good middle linebacker user skills. He controls the middle of the field.
As crazy as it looks, if the Redskins, Giants, and Eagles start going on a losing streak and Cowboys went out, they could win the division still.
Yeah, nobody's out of it. Nobody's out of it. I'm just saying, based on pure user skills and him already having the division, I would be really surprised if anybody took that away from him.
Yeah, you're right.
NFC West, we got Corey at 7-3, 49ers user. He's got, looks like the Rams are behind him at 4-6. So he got a pretty good commanding lead on that division. I wouldn't say it's his yet, but he's in the driver's seat for sure in that one.
Well, the Rams' issue right now, and basically the reason why he's 4-6 is because the interceptions thrown by Jared Goff, I think I read on the stats, was 32 interceptions.
Yeah,
so
go
far.
look at Baker's. It ain't much off of that. I might have him beat.
I was just looking at Redskins middle linebacker, since you said he's good at linebacker usering. He just got 7 picks that last game with David.
Dang it.
In one game. So
Wow.
if you play Sutherland, try to stay out of that middle of that field on them crossing routes. Obviously, you could shut him down.
Rodney,
For sure.
I'll be honest with you. If they're not going to listen about Thomas, they're not going to listen about Thomas. Because remember what Sean Simple's linebacker's doing right now.
Oh, yeah. Sean Simple spamming his middle linebacker.
32
I didn't even
interceptions.
think there was something you could do. I mean, he's got player of the week. We were looking at it earlier today, me and Logan. He's got player of the week, I think, what did we say, 4 or 5 times with that middle
Yes.
linebacker?
Yes.
He had 5 player of the weeks. He's had 3 weeks where he had 6 interceptions, I think.
And one with 5. And one of those games is the 49ers in the NFC West, where he got 6 interceptions on Corey.
They're just the last 3 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Last
last
3
3 weeks.
14 tackles, 6 interceptions. 4 tackles, 5 interceptions. 6 tackles, 6 interceptions. There's another one, 8 tackles, 4 interceptions.
And
There's another one, 12 tackles, 6 interceptions,
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
I
when
forgot.
you got a user that really likes to get on the middle linebacker and likes to bait, and they got a linebacker that has high agility like he does, and they can cut and turn fast and move. I mean, that ball hawk it's sick. I really wish that they would make an option where you could turn ball hawk off, if I'm being honest, because it's almost like a glitch, like you can just hold it down and run around and you don't have to time anything.
Yeah, about like what Shazier did to me last week.
Yeah, I wish you could just turn it off and have to time it, and then if you had to time it, you would not, even if you were there, if you didn't time it right, it would bounce off your hands. It'd make it a lot better. But anyways, that being said, we can't turn ball hawk off on, and he's taking full. So basically, on the middle of the field, when you're playing a guy that has good unit linebacker skills like he does, you got to stay to the outsides, and you got to watch where he's covering. If he's covering more to the right than the left, then go opposite field. Don't go to where the user's at, especially when he can recover at that rate, because when you got ball hawk down, you can be 5 yards away. We're just going to animate that dude to recover. He's going to shoot up, like all of a sudden he gets 95 speed for 2 seconds and blasts up there and picks it off. So, and then especially playing up middle linebackers, you can't bullet pass. You can't. You just got to float them, and you got to try to battle the safeties and peek the ball. It's the only thing you have to do it, or you're going to just throw a lot of picks. You know, I mean, he's broke. What was the interception record? Like, he's doubled it.
Yeah, he's doubled it. Now there's a crazy I can't say the word for some reason, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, brother. Go ahead.
Donnerson has 419 interception return yards. That's almost 75% more yards than half the receiving in the league right now.
The
That's
last
insane.
interception record I'm looking at was broke last year by David. What we were just talking about, just got 7 picks last week. Well, Donaldson right now has 32, and David only has 19 this year. Well, you say only 19 because you're comparing it to 32.
19's a hell of a year.
Yeah, I mean, you sit here and you look at all the records, and it all cornerback. But with this Madden, how it's built, and it's all right outside linebackers.
Yeah. You're right about that.
I think they just made linebackers too overpowered.
Well, it's just the ball hawk. The ball hawk takes over. But we're talking about that division. He's 8-2. He's got all the interceptions. He's 8-2. He's leading his division. Last year, Martell and Larry Thomas was neck and neck for most of the season, and Larry Thomas snuck in with an 8-8 record and got in at the wild card. But this year, he's struggling a little bit, and he's 3-7. And Martell has turned that Falcons team around, and he's 7-3, and got a wild card spot if the playoffs started today.
And also looking at the NFL records, Sean Semple with Jones II, he broke the rushing yards in a season last year as well with 2,130. So, and he's playing very well with his running back this season too. There's Rod, you saw that the weekly awards, how his linebackers got 3 weeks in a row. Well, his running back also has 2 weeks in a row the last 2 weeks too.
Well, anybody that knows Sean Semple is, if you've known Sean Semple, we played him last season. I mean, we all know his power is running. He's always had a solid running game. I mean, if you could stop his run, you could beat him, because he can't pass worth a shit.
Yeah, his passing skills are average, but his running game is elite. He usually runs for about as much yards as he passes for. Last year, anyway. I don't know how he's doing.
Right now, he's running. He's got 600 more rushing yards than passing yards.
Yeah, his running game is, and he likes to have that speed guy, which is Ron Jones. He starts out at 93. I don't know what he's got him up to, but I did notice that he just now got his cleats and gloves he's got him to a 99 overall.
Yeah, and looking at the NFL records here, in a single game, Jones is his name's on the list 3 times with 313 twice last year, and then 49ers Corey's broke a record too with 321 yards rushing and 349 for Jones again. And going back to his linebacker,
you have to commit to the run.
Well, going back to his linebacker, Donnerson is literally on that list 4 times underneath of David for this year.
It seems like me and Simple's we gotta go get together, and he could teach me how to run the ball, and I could teach him how to pass, because I'm worse in rushing.
Yeah, well.
And then the other division, the only one we haven't talked about in the NFC, is the North. The North is the strongest division in the NFC, and probably arguably the strongest division in the league. Only the AFC South would be in that, or in the AFC East too. You could include them into the conversation. But we got the Lions. Jason Thomas. He's playing strong this year. He's only got 1 loss, 9 wins. And then we got our defending champion, Joe Scott. He just joined the commissioner team today. He's 8-2. And then Nate Folsom, he's got the Vikings at 6-3-1. And then Jimmy McFall at the back end of that, with still the last person in the division is a winning record. That's the only division in our league that has all 4 participants with a winning record, so you would have to give them the badge of the best division in the league at this point. If the playoffs started today, the Vikings would be outside looking in to the 7-3 Falcons, but the Bears would be holding the wild card spot, and the Lions the number 1 seed.
Yeah, but you could also say in the NFC that you got one of them in the Redskins, Cowboys, Giants, that one of those low records is going to be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, they're definitely going to be in the playoffs, but you got the Detroit Lions, which would be the number 1 seed right now, and then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going to be the number 2 seed. That's going to be 2 buys. And then you got San Francisco and the Redskins hosting the wild card.
Yep.
And then you'll have the Bears playing. They'll be playing the Redskins, and then the Falcons will play the San Francisco, and then Minnesota will be out looking in. So you got Minnesota and Green Bay, both a game out of the wild card. Well, Minnesota being a half game, Green Bay being a full game. And then after that, it pretty much drops off to the New York Giants being 6-4, but you can't really say they're out of it because they're only a game back in their division. And then you go down to the bottom of the league, which is the Seahawks, just recently took over by Ahmad Bush a few weeks ago. They're still in a rebuilding. The previous user moved a bunch of players, so he's got some work to do there. And then we all know what Jacob Ritchie did to the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
And then Derek's building the Cowboys. He traded me Elliott. Still can't believe I got him to trade Zeke to me, but he did draft Bryce Love, and he didn't want to pay Zeke because Zeke was wanting a lot of money. He traded him to me in a contract year, so it made sense. But and then Rob Stevens 2-8. That's a rebuilding project there. And then the Saints are 0-10. Chris Sims, he didn't make his game today. And the worst thing you can do, this is a good time to bring it up, is when you're like, if you're going to miss a game, just let your opponent know something on the page. If he might have messaged them in a private message, I don't know, but not letting your opponent know stuff, that's like, you can miss a game and that's going to count against you a little bit. But if you miss a game and you're not showing any effort to make communication on the page, that's showing me that you're not really caring about being in the league. And we're going to find somebody that wants to be in the league.
I understand that too. But going to the, we'll just do one last thing and we can end this bitch. So, we're here at week 12 now, and I see a game's already been played. The Redskins did beat the Giants 46-6. Going down to Colts take on the Patriots. Who do you guys got winning this game?
Colts and the Patriots.
Yes.
Colts will win that game.
Yeah, you gotta go crazy saying Colts ain't gonna win. They're 9-1. I know Patriots have the new user, but
he's gonna have to figure that team out. He ain't gonna come in here and beat Jones. He's already got his team figured out and where he's gonna go and what he wants to do.
I'm sure all the Patriots' confidence levels are down and Colts are booming. Yeah, you got to go with the Colts. You
can't really deny that one. And then you got the Bengals and the Steelers, which would be Hood versus Edwin.
You got another Mitch.
I mean Mitch, not Hood.
It's the same deal. Edwin's been playing with his team. He knows his team. Mitch is, hell, he ain't even joined the league until tomorrow, so he's fresh off the, he's gonna have to know. But the only thing Bengals got, man, they do got them fast wide receivers, so anything could happen. But you still gotta go with Steelers on that.
Yeah, you still got AJ there. You got John Ross with that 98 speed, and that previous Bengals user traded for Aaron Rodgers this year, so they couldn't sling it for sure. But yeah, you got to go with Edwin. He knows, like you said, knows his team. Mitch is just coming in here trying to figure out what his squad is about, and that's going to be the Steelers.
And then we got the Falcons and the Texans.
Well, I know that Texans user really ain't worth the shit. Nah. You gotta go with the Falcons because Texas has been on a downfall, man. I mean, you've been watching how they play. Falcons been putting in solid games. Texans started off well, but until they get back in that groove again, I mean, you gotta go with the Falcons.
Well, this is a home game for the Texans, so I'll put it as a pick 'em really. But if I have to go with the team, since I did put it as a pick 'em, I'm gonna go with the home team. I think Houston can win that one.
Then you got the Panthers and the Bucks. I think we're all in agreement on this one.
If Larry stays away from throwing across the middle and runs the ball and slows down the game a little bit, commits to the run, get a bunch of linebackers in there against the run, guard the edges, because that's where he wants to run the ball, is to the edge. He can compete. Larry ain't a bad user. He sometimes gets undisciplined with his passes and throws interceptions. And my history of playing him, that's the only weakness he really has, which is a lot of people's weakness in this game because the defense rules. I mean, when you throw the ball, unless you use your wide receiver and be aggressive with them, the defense is going to drive at the ball and the offense is going to wait back, and you can't throw like you could last year. And I see a lot this in the league all over is people not adjusting to the new Madden, including myself. Like, I just see people open and I want to throw it to them, but that 5 yards don't mean shit this year. They're going to recover. Defense is going to drive at the ball and they're going to pick it off.
Yeah. I got to go with the Bucks too. And obviously the Titans has got the game against the Broncos. It's Jay's trying to get that the whole offense situated, and I kind of understand he's got Case Keenum, and that's the.
Well, Jay's got a good running game. He can run the ball.
Oh, he's really good at running the ball.
But you gotta, and he's got a decent defense, but you gotta be able to pass the ball, and that's he'll tell you himself that's his weakness. He turns the ball over too much in the passing game. The winless Broncos, and you're going to have to go with the Titans on that one.
Now, the next game is going to probably be a good one. It's Raiders and Packers.
Yeah, it should be a good game.
I'm going to have to go with the Raiders on that one. Jimmy, I
Yeah.
mean, he put in a good game, but at the same time, he's been on that down streak too.
You know, Rich is having a subpar year. Last year he was in the playoff hunt. This year he's kind of struggling, but he's also had to give out a couple forced wins because he had some busy things going on in his life he had to take care of, and we all know families over Madden. But he's had one impressive win. He's beat the Lions and gave them their only loss.
He dropped the last undefeated team. That was just what, 2 weeks ago, huh?
Yeah, so he can. I mean, I'm going to go with the Raiders too. I mean, I think he can win that game.
I like the Raiders too. I think it's gonna be a close game. I do.
Oh, it just matters if the Packers get Russell rolling right, and they do have Russell now, don't they?
Yeah, they got Wilson.
Yeah, if they get him rolling and get him playing his game.
They do have the number one wide receiver in the league, Vontae Adams.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They get that passing game. But like I said, he's been on a downfall.
Yeah, he's trending down.
And then
who do you guys
go ahead.
Go for it?
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say, Rod?
I'm just sitting here and I can't take my eyes off the old Fins and Bills. I guess they're just because they're in my division, and I can't wait to see what happens in that game.
Yeah, I kind of skipped the 49ers Saints game too. So Dolphins Bills, that's gonna be a good game. I don't know who to pick.
I think I'm going to give it to the team that needs it more. The team that needs it more is Bills. Will be playing a little more desperate. They're going to play some good defense, I think. And plus, they are at home. So I look at this as a pick 'em really, and in a pick 'em, I'm going to give it to the home team.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins, and the only reason I go with the Dolphins is because Steven and the Dolphins have been on a 7-game win streak. And when you build momentum is hard to stop.
Yeah, this is my division game, and I gotta go with the Bills, just like what Rob said. They've been playing solid ball. Of course, Steven has too. But
oh yeah,
man, I really just want to win. I played them both. Of course, me and Bill's game was pretty user friendly. You know, Madden really didn't get involved. Me and the Dolphins, I mean, you can see what happened there. I mean, I ain't allowed 46 points all year long, and then that happened.
Well,
yeah, it's going to be a good game. It's arguably the game of the week, but if I was to pick a game of the week, I'd pick the Lions versus Chicago against the defending Super Bowl champions, 8-2, against the Lions, leader of the NFC. Basically, this is a game for the division. Bears can go draw even if they win this game. And I think since it is going to be, I'm trying to find the Detroit's house. That's going to be
playing that line, yeah.
They're playing at Detroit's house. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the Bears and the Super Bowl champs. I mean, they're the defending champions. Lions been playing some good ball, not taking anything away from them. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think if I was to put a spread on it, I'd give 2 points to the Bears.
We actually have somebody.
One thing that we know about.
Go ahead, Rod, and
one
then
thing
I'll.
that we know about Joe Scott is Joe Scott plays very, very well under pressure.
Yes, he does.
I mean, he doesn't force anything. He just plays real good ball under pressure. I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of playing the Lions user yet, but I just know by how I play Joe Scott, and Joe Scott, his knowledge of Madden is second to none, really. He knows how to make adjustments. He knows how to get shit working that wasn't working in the first quarter, you know.
Yes, he does.
And then you got the. I just wanted to let you guys know, we did have somebody actually message us in the live chat while we're actually talking, and it's a guy named Raider Bay Nation. Raiders are legit. So I don't know if that's
Man.
Rich or
Who is that?
I don't know, but it's legit. But the Ravens and Browns, Ravens are desperate to try to get a couple wins in. They've been trying their best, but they came up short against me. But I got to go with the Browns in that one.
Well,
Yeah,
I have to
Ravens
go with
has
the
lost a
Browns
lot of
too.
close.
They got a good man. That front seven on the Browns it's really retarded. Really, I mean, I know that's your team, Robert, but I mean, man, that front seven pretty retarded. But at the same time, Ravens, he put in a good game, man. He lost
definitely capable of
one by
beating
2 points, one by 3 points, one by. I mean, if he needs to practice on his closing out game. For some reason, in the fourth quarter, he just can't close them out.
He could easily be. I'm looking at his losses here, and he, like you said, he lost two. He lost by two twice, and lost by three another time. So he could easily be 6-4 right now, instead of 3-7, and that would put him right in the division. So yeah, I mean, with him, if you use Lamar the way Jackson's supposed to be used, and he's a tough cover, and he's got some good speed with John Brown, and yeah, it's going to be a good game. I expect to have to bring all my Madden skills to the table to put them away.
Mhm.
And this is definitely a must-win for you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I'm also going to go with the Bears over the Lions. I just feel like Joe has got a little bit of momentum going into this game.
No love for the Lions. You hear that, Jason? Jason's going to have a lot of momentum, or a lot of motivation to prove us all wrong.
Yeah. And then you also got the Rams at the Vikings. I can't go with the Rams. I'm sorry, Bigga, but the 32 interceptions, it's hard. It's hard
Well,
to.
Bigga, one thing I know about Bigga is he's a big time game player, man. He's a all or nothing type of guy.
Yep.
Thing is, I
likes
mean,
the
he
big
could
play.
beat anybody if he gets his passing game rolling, and if you can't stop it, and it's the only thing I'd have to go with Vikings is because it's in Minnesota. But I mean, don't put it past Rams. I mean, they could definitely put it in there. They're either going to throw 8 picks in a game with only 300 yards passing, or they're going to go 1 pick with 800 yards passing. There's no telling about it. He lives in there.
That's about as accurate as you can get his own diagnosis of him. That's exactly the way he plays. If his deep passing is working, then he can beat anybody.
That's
And
the
with them
truth.
fast wide receivers, you got Woods, you got Cooks, you got, man, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
I gotta go with the Vikings because I just think that Nate Folsom he's got to be desperate in order to continue his push to the playoffs. Now that how deep that division is, and it's a must
he'll
win.
come focused. Yeah, if I was gonna pick a team, I'm gonna pick the Vikings. They're playing at the Vikings home. He plays pretty good user defense on passing and stuff. He'll pick him off if he gets too carried away with passing. If Bigga plays a little more conservative, he could beat him. But I think turnovers will be the reason the Vikings come away with this.
I'm here looking at a toilet bowl competition. But it's really an important game for both of them if they are even trying to make the playoffs, and that's the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, that division's still pretty much wide open, really.
So that's what I said. The Redskins were literally the 4th team in the division last week. And with a victory against the Giants, they are #1 in that division now.
It's crazy.
And what's weird about these two users that I'm looking at with Derek and Sean is that both of them were elite last year, last Madden,
Yeah.
and this Madden, and I don't know if they're still trying to figure out the game, or I mean, I know Jacob Ritchie dismantled the Eagles, but
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
He should
I
have a lot
remember
of
him
picks,
being in my
though.
division last year.
Yeah, Sean was tough out in Baltimore Fall last year. He was the Bucks. I remember having to play against him. I was the shoot, what was it? No, he wasn't the well. It was NBA. He was the Bucks, and I was
Yeah.
Charger. I remember playing him. A few times, and he was a tough out for sure. And Derek, he's always can put together a good game and beat you.
Yeah,
Both
but
of them
I mean,
like Derek likes to throw deep a lot on this game. If you throw deep a lot, you're going to turn the ball over because they'll underthrow the wide receivers. They do it all the time, and the DB's just sitting there, and the DBs can catch like Randy Moss this year, so it's going to be a turnover. And when anybody who knows football knows turnovers is going to result in L's. You can't turn the ball over and win.
Yep.
Yeah, and you mentioned Eagles having a lot of picks. They have a first rounder, that's it. They got 1, 2, 3 second round, 2 third, a 4th, 5th, 6th, and a 7th.
Well, he got all Jacob Ritchie's picks last season. I think he had what, 5 first rounders last season, I believe, 4 or 5.
And I don't think he got to make the draft either.
Ooh.
No, he didn't. He got maybe 2 of them picks were solid. I mean, all of them were decent because it was the first round, but 2 of them were actually solid picks. And I mean, he probably would have done a lot better if he could have made the draft, but he wasn't able to make it. But he's got a lot of young talent that he can build up for sure, no doubt about that. He hasn't been taking advantage of the write-ups, but that's always going to help you out. I mean, not as much as last year. Really, this year, best thing, well, before I get into that, do we have any more games to call? Is that all
No,
the games
that's
there,
it.
Logan?
Go ahead.
Okay.
We still got my game, the Jets and Chargers.
No, well,
Oh yeah, okay, we'll call that one. Where that's going to be played at the Chargers, I'm going to have to give it to the Chargers. Jets need a win here, but they've been losing. They've been playing bad. Madden's not like them. Maybe it'll change their way they've been treating the Jets. But I've watched the last 2 games the Jets played, and he's just getting shit on.
Yeah, their offense definitely went back to square one. I was moving the ball really well with them for a couple of weeks, but like you said, if you go off the last 2 games, if they don't get it clicking, it ain't gonna happen.
I kind of like the Jets in this. I kind of want.
I wonder why.
I'm not because I'm a Jets fan in real life, but I know how Rodney plays, and I know he may have lost 2 games straight, but you got to look at it the way I look at it, and Rod can turn that around very quickly.
No, I don't doubt he can win. I'm not saying it's going to be a massacre. I'm just giving the edge to the Chargers being at home. But now that we got all the games out of the way, the real big deal this year is activity. You know that if you don't play, it's a rough scale I use, but I'll just basically look over the past 5 weeks. And if you ain't been committing to play your games over the past 5 weeks, then you're out the league. You got 3 of them games where you're not in it. You're gonna be out. It could be less than that. It could be more than that. It just depends on how you missed them, what was the reasons, this and that. Communication on the page. The last 2 people we kicked were not communicating on the page hardly at all, and not playing their game. So that right there will always equal a chopping block visit for you. And I'm not. If you ever get kicked out of the league for inactivity, I won't be against ever having you back. I can put you back on the list, but you're not going to be, you're going to lose your team and what you've been trying to build. We got awards coming out this year. We did a mid-season award. It was just a small one. It was just a normal to a quick, which would mean a lot for a young player if you used it on a young player. Then we're going to have another award for the second set of games past week 8, which would actually could be 8 games, could be 9 games, depending on your bye week. But that second set of games, we'll have an award, and then you'll have an award for the whole season. Now the award on the whole season is going to be more of a curve. It ain't going to be like you played all your games, you get something. If you didn't, you won't get nothing. If you play all your games, you'll get the biggest prize, of course. And then a notch below that would be, people that might have had a fair Sims, and a notch below that would be people that had the fair. Everybody's going to get something. Just like last year, I gave everybody something. It might not have been a lot at the end, but everybody will get something for the full season of activity. And then the second half, though, that's all or nothing. You play all of them, you get something. You don't play anything, you miss something, you're not getting that second half. And then we got the write-ups, which will be a little different this year. They'll still do the devs, but it's only going to be one dev trait, and you have to spend it with points. You'll have a point system, and you can also use these points on attributes, depending on what the attribute is and where he's at and how much it'll cost. Say, for example, you got a wide receiver at 92 speed, and you're wanting to bump him up on speed. That anything over 90 is going to cost you 3 points, and but if he was below 90, it would only cost 1. And it's going to be like that on strength as well. And so I'll get it all worked up at the end of the year and made out where you can see exactly what it's going to be. But that's going to be the write-up rewards. If you haven't been participating, I would encourage you to start making them. If you made them for every week from here on out, you'd at least probably be a middle of the pack award winner. If you made some for re-signings, stuff like that, you can probably get in a few more if you're doing your games. It'll be graded on a curve just like last year, seeing who's the most, and then I'll put them in tiers depending on how many posts they make. That's all I have. If you have anything you would like to add, guys, go ahead.
I'm good.
All right, well, this is, I know we haven't done a podcast in a while. I've been busy. Been really, well, if I'm being honest, I've been tripping out on 2K a lot.
Yes, he has.
I kind of want to get a 2K league going. I don't know if we could find 32 guys, but I want to make a post on the page, because I know not everybody might not listen to podcasts, but if anybody's interested, reach out to me. I'm thinking about getting a 2K league going, maybe just like a 30-game season, something like that, open schedule. You can play whenever you want. It ain't going to be like Madden where you have 2 days to play somebody. You could just get on, we'll have a chat, and just say, hey, anybody want to play a game, and we'll go. As far as picking teams, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'm gonna pick the Mavericks, so I'm surely nobody wants to be them. But anyway, we'll try to get another podcast in next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for coming on, Rod.